I'll move to some questions from the floor, and I'd like to ask the speakers to try and make sure that you're doing your question within the minute. Please identify yourself, and we will continue to do the round robin here that we've been doing. So Mr. Rossi, Mr. Prue, and Minister Pupatello will be the order on this 9th question. So first, James, do you want to be the first one up then?
James Derrick, Schulich School of Business. Thank you, Janet, and thank you to the panelists for being here. Not having a national securities regulator is undermining our country's capital markets as the world moves to a more globally integrated system. Ontario has been a strong supporter of Ottawa's push to establish a system of national regulation, and we are currently awaiting the Supreme Court decision on the federal government's current proposal. What is your party's position on establishing a national regulator, and what will you do if the court rules against the federal government's proposal?
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Rossi.
Well, it's clear, but I've been totally unclear on this point.
I've noticed.
So I will repeat it, and I'm happy to repeat it here and in Ottawa and anywhere else and shout it from the rooftops. We need a national securities regulator, and it must be located in Toronto, full stop. This is the center of the financial services sector of Canada. We want to build on the expertise that is here. We cannot rest on our laurels. The rest of the world is upping their game. We have to do so accordingly and give every advantage possible. And what's amazing about the financial services sector is that as the BCG analysis and TFSA analysis shows, there's an opportunity to grow this sector by the tens of thousands of jobs if we have our act together, and if we see that through coordinated effort and giving it every advantage, it will produce real jobs, not heavily subsidized, not $1 million plus per job to create a job as the Samsung deal has. This is real economic development, and one of the key elements of that is a national securities regulator located here in Toronto.
Thank you very much. Mr. Prue.
Yeah, we are totally in favor of a national securities regulator in Toronto. I served on the Finance Committee when this idea was first floated and spoke in favor of it then, and I speak in favor of it now. What we also said, though, that we thought that there was going to be some considerable difficulties over time with some of the provinces not wanting to go down that route. Quebec was one of the first and said no. Alberta was saying no, and it has taken the federal government to have to take this to the Supreme Court. You ask what we'll do if the Supreme Court says no. I don't know what can be done. I don't even believe a notwithstanding clause to the Constitution will work, because the British North America Act, the precursor of the Constitution Act, is very clear that this was a matter that was within provincial jurisdiction, because no one 150 years ago foresaw what was going to happen around financial services. So it is going to take a great deal. I can only hope that the Supreme Court in its wisdom does the right thing. And if they do the right thing, then we'll all be better off for it. If they don't, this is going to be the subject of some considerable long-term negotiation to actually have it happen. But it needs to happen. We are one of, I believe, only 2 jurisdictions in the world that have a regulation spread out over so many provinces and territories, and it simply will not work for the benefit of Canadians and Ontarians, and certainly will not use the talent that is in this room.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prue. Minister Pupatello.
Thanks. I think we'll stand on the record of Dalton McGuinty and Dwight Duncan, who called publicly for this national regulator to be centered in Ontario. When it was unpopular to do so at a national table, Ontario was doing it. And I will just say that it's easy to sit here in the middle of Toronto, in the middle of the financial service industry, and give you all kinds of platitudes. Oh, center of the universe. Of course you are. We recognize that. That's why we're here. That's why we've launched sectoral people just working in financial service in my ministry. Of course it's important. What it matters is that when you go to vote in the fall, which is the party that's going to govern, that's going to be able to do something about it? Is it the feds, who for 5 years have had the same players, who were all in Ontario, by the way, in leading positions federally? Clement, Baird, Flaherty, and nothing's happened yet. Or is it going to be the NDP, heavily weighted in Quebec, who wouldn't dare take a position anti-Quebec for the rest of us? So realistically,
jealousy about Quebec. Jealousy.
Quebec
realistically, you know, and I have to tell you, I've come to know Minister Bachand, Minister Clément Gignac, who are tremendous national figures in their own right, very successful business people who understand the importance of a national regulator. And I believe if the Supreme Court is going to vote against or come out with a ruling that isn't going to be helpful here, we are going to have to find a way to compromise with both Alberta and Quebec to land the national regulator in Toronto. And if that means guaranteeing a job level, which everyone's interested in, even those provinces, if it's going to be some mining, oil and gas activity in Alberta, so be it. They have a huge oil and gas sector. If it's going to be some of the historical Montreal-based financial, so be it. The national regulator needs to be seen to be from Ontario, and particularly
Minister,
from Ontario,
thank you.
from Toronto.
Thank you very, very much. Okay. Thank you, James. Cam.
Hi. Thanks for inviting me, Janet. My name is Cam Rathi. My day job is Special Advisor India for the law firm Blake, Castles and Graydon. I'm also Vice Chairman of the Canada-India Education Council, headed by Peter Pettigrew, and I'm also the past President of the Canada-India Business Council. Let me add some international flavor to this discussion, local discussion. India, flavor of the month, flavor of the year, flavor of the week. India, Ontario, excellent relations moving forward. Premier McGuinty, Dr. McGuinty has done an excellent job in general, Sandra Pupatello in particular, in promoting India-Canada relations. I've been to both the missions with him and yours. And I think as we move forward, my question to all three of you is, what will your attitude, your plan be towards India as we move forward as a country which we should do business with? There's a lot of potential and a lot of opportunities.
Thank you very much, and we'll go to Minister Pupatello, then Mr. Rossi, and Mr. Prue. Minister.
Thanks. I think you'll be pleased to see that the Premier has already come out with part of his platform for the next term, which is to double the number of Premier-led missions. Ministers are important, Premiers even more so, to be in some markets where the officials from governments are important to be seen in those markets, and India is one of those. We've established huge relationships, agreements with Maharashtra, with New Delhi in particular, with particular ministries there. With 7 of the 8 big houses in India, 7 of 8 have landed businesses here in Ontario, and we're delighted. It represents tens of thousands of jobs. So we know this is an important relationship to have. India may well be the premier example of how our government's done business internationally. I'm proud of our record there. In addition, proud of the fact that we've also led some of our post-secondary institutions to be doing a tremendous amount of business in India now, knowing that the next leap is that kind of job and that kind of relationship on the R&D side, the post-secondary side, and everything that follows, which will be jobs. In particular, for this sector, the relationship we established with ICICI Bank, with State Bank, they have branches here. Those are important to us. And then to see institutions here like Manulife, commonplace household names in India, is tremendous. And that is the case. The way we've taken our financial service to the world is quite amazing, that we have, not just in India, but in every market, the fact that we have more Scotiabank branches in Mexico than we have in Canada is an amazing stat. But it speaks to how we bring our industry to the world. It will bring business to Ontario.
Thank you, Minister. Mr. Rossi.
Well, thank you, Ken, and namaste. It's a wonderful, wonderful greeting that actually summarizes what needs to happen. And namaste literally means the light of the divine in me sees, recognizes, and bows to the light of the divine in you. And clearly, when it comes to economic opportunity, there's more than the light of the divine in India. It is one of the upcoming giants in the world economy. We have an enormous advantage because of the size of our South Asian community in Canada and Ontario in particular. Incredible entrepreneurs with links back to India that we want to continue to encourage and bridge with. No one is not going to take advantage of these incredible opportunities. It would be insanity to do so.
Thank you, Mr. Prue.
We recognize what is happening south of our border. I want to say that first. The American economy is in some considerable turmoil. They are our chief trading partner, and we, if we are to be smart, need to diversify. And we have said this for a long time within the NDP, and I know a lot of financial people have as well. We need to diversify and find markets around the world, particularly in emerging economies. And I mean, India is a chief one, but so is Brazil, so is China. We need to be looking to those markets in order to